What's happening, legends? Welcome back to the Becoming Reborn podcast. Today, we've got a podcast that Patrick has come up with the topic. So I'll let Patrick introduce it.
So this is a podcast designed to help people who are just starting out with exercise or have had a big layoff from exercise and are just getting back into it. So we're going to go through, Trav, a bit about like the mindset of someone starting exercise again. And also we'll finish off with our tips for someone just starting out. Because we're probably the two people to speak to this the best, given that we literally see hundreds of people every year that are just starting exercise. We see what people do right, we see what people do wrong, and what their mindset should be coming in.
I'll start with what their mindset shouldn't be, Patrick.
Shouldn't?
Yeah, shouldn't.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times...
Straight off the bat, let's go.
Yeah, I'm diving in.
All right.
A lot of the times when people are coming back from a long time off, they compare themselves to what they were and they're like, oh, I don't want to be lesser than I was before and I know I'm going to be. They've got to like drop that and be like, all right, let's start again. Because you'd be surprised how quickly you get back into that form that you were before when you were in the gym previously. Whereas if people focus on what they were and what they currently are, that's just a roadblock. But it's in reality, it's just a speed bump. Yes, you're not going to be as fit or as strong as you were before, but the only way to get fitter and stronger is to get back into the gym. Yep. So, and then you'll be able to use those, your previous metrics that you were hitting before as a motivator, as your guidelines of where you want to try and get back to, but don't use it in the other way where it's like, oh, I can't do that anymore, so I'm not going to do it at all.
Yep.
It's like very similar to that saying that I used to always say, we were talking to Brie about it yesterday, is when people focus on the mountain ahead,
what are they going to trip over?
Is anthill or antmole or what is it? What is that?
You say molehill normally.
Yeah, molehill. That's
anthill?
The one.
I don't know.
Anthill, whatever you want. Yeah, so if you focus on the mountain ahead, you might trip over the anthill in front of you.
Nice. Now, taking a step back, not someone returning to training, which you've just been talking about.
First two.
Someone starting training for the first time ever. Generally, what do we see as why do people... Like what gets them off their ass and into the gym for the first time?
It's generally an emotional trigger of some sort. I don't know why this popped back in my head.
I know what you're going to say.
Do you actually?
I actually know what you're going to say.
How can we do this? Let's see. I'll say. Oh yeah.
But we've got to word it differently potentially.
Can I tell New?
Well, you tell New.
No. I'll go 3, 2, 1.
But the thing is,
the way we're going to word it is differently. We know you're a very honest person. I'm just going to say it and you tell me if it's what you're talking about it or not. That there was a guy who inquired about the gym and the reason or the trigger was his son got stuck in one of those indoor play equipment things and he couldn't get him.
It's exactly it. Holy shit.
And I don't reckon you told us that story like 3-4 years ago. I don't know why I just knew that was what you were going to talk about then.
Yeah, wow. That's
Play
exactly
Cave or something.
He was at Play
Tarrant
Cave.
Point.
It's a Play Cave.
The one near Gold's Gym.
He got stuck. He couldn't get his kid, and he's like, he was too big.
Yeah.
And that actually haunts me.
It does. Me. And I've told you about my mate, right? I won't name him. I won't embarrass him. Where we're at a carnival down at Huskisson, like over New Year's, and his son, who was like maybe 2 or 3, wanted to go on this ride with him, and they lined up, and then they went and got on the ride, and it was one of the ones where like you have to have an adult with someone under a certain height. And so he sat down and then went to put his son on his lap and then they went to close the thing on him and it wouldn't fit. And they had to go, you can't get on the ride, like you're too big. He was too overweight. And so they had to get off and like walk past everyone who's lined up. And I was there with him and it broke my heart. I was honestly almost in tears when his son was saying, Daddy, why can't we go on the ride? Because like I was on the ride with my son and I heard him saying, Daddy, I want to go like Pat and Mason. Horrible. And it's like, and here's the hard thing, like that specific mate of mine, I've tried to get to the gym for years and years. And I know, like he's one of the old footy boys, right? He would thrive in this environment. He's got good banter. I played footy with him for years and he was athletic growing up and just, he will not step foot in the gym. So to be honest, that's the type of person who this podcast is aimed at. Like, how to overcome, because there's obviously that mental barrier with someone like him of he knows he should exercise and needs to for his physical health, but that first step is just too daunting.
Yeah.
Right. Tell me, Trav, and this is going to sound like a wanker comment, but it is very difficult for us to put ourselves in the minds of these people because we haven't been there, respectfully. Like, we've always trained and we've always been quite fit and healthy. We've never been overweight and intimidated about going to a gym. But what is going through the mind of somebody who's like that, who
it's
is scared?
Insecurities. I think a lot of people think that everyone's going to be looking at them.
Yes.
And no one is.
No one, respectfully, out there, if you are just joining a gym and you're worried about people thinking of you, no one gives a fuck about you. They're all worried about themselves.
Yes.
Please continue.
It's exactly right. And another thing is they think everyone's going to think, oh, he's not fit enough to be. I know this is more speaking for people that come to Reborn, but I'm assuming it'd be like this for all gyms. They think that they're not fit enough, then everyone's going to judge them. But everyone that's in that room has had their first session as well. So they know exactly what it feels like. No one's going to judge because we've all been there before. All of us have had their first day at the gym. Like, even us, when we were 16, 17 years old, I still remember going there as a high school student, being like, I'm so lost, I don't know what to do. And I felt uncomfortable. But once you're in there and you get through it, it's not as bad as you think. Everyone makes our problems out to be 10 times worse than what they are. And this is probably one of the most common, is people think that they're going to be looked at, they're going to be judged. None of that happens. When you come into the gym, everyone understands that if it's your first time, it's your first time, but no one knows that's your first time, and no one cares no one cares about your fitness or how unfit you are or what you look like. Just get in there and enjoy yourself.
And I'd like to think there's a lot of people out there, because I definitely do this. Even if it's not a gym, if you're driving along and you see someone running and they might be overweight and struggling, like the one thing that I always think is, good on them.
Yeah.
Look at you. Like, what you're doing right now, that looks hard. Fucking love that.
Every time.
Get after it.
You'll love this. You know how the exact example, whenever we see someone running, and like most of the time, it's someone that's a little bit overweight, and you and I will get around them, right? Yep. We're like, shit, yeah, like, love that, good on them.
Yes.
Like, get after it, right? So I was driving the other day with Ace, and he was in the front seat, and we drove past this bigger guy getting after it. He ran down the window and and he's like, get it, you animal. And it sounded really weird because I know that's not him, but he's heard me say that kind of stuff on runs, similar, but not that's not how I say it or what I would
even
say.
When you just said it then, it sounded weird. But
I get it.
It sounds
weird, right? Like,
I can see what he's trying to do.
Mine would be like, shit, you're an animal, but like, you can't say that. And he ran down the window and said it to him and looked at me. He's like, is that good, Dad? And I was like, I don't know where that came from. I love what you did that just said, because that guy would have heard some random kid just yell out to him and go, yeah, you animal. Get you animal or something like that. I think it made sense, but it was fantastic. And I love that, because that's what you and I do. And you hear Mason and now Zadie, we won't say what she says all the time. It's similar to what you say, but they copy what we do in those moments as well. So it's great that that's infectious as well. And I'd love to see more people do that, like you were saying as well.
Absolutely. So here's the hard thing, guys, is when someone is unfit or unhealthy or overweight, it sounds really simple when you drop it down to this level, but essentially there's two choices. You can be unfit and overweight and try and do something about it, or you can stick in your head in the sand and not do anything about it. 12 months later, what's the difference? Person who's sticking their head in the sand doing nothing about it is going to be in as bad, if not a worse situation. Person who's actually going to try and do something about it just has to overcome that initial anxiety and the fear of starting to then see their trajectory get better, right?
I know. Again, sounds very simple, but you just got to start.
Yeah. So tell me, is confidence something that you need to have before starting, or that you build through doing?
You get confidence from reps. So you might not necessarily have confidence to start with. Most of the time you won't. But where the confidence comes from is reps. The more reps you do, the more confident you get.
So tell me, Travis, what else? We mentioned someone potentially starting out thinking that everyone's looking at them and judging them. What else would someone be afraid of when starting on a journey like this?
Outside of those two things, what else would they be?
I got one.
All right, you go.
Failing.
What are they failing?
they may have tried things before, diets, eating plans, going to a gym, picking up running, and try it for 2 months, don't get a result, throw their hands in the air and go, oh, well, stuff it.
Oh.
And it's generally the mindset. And unfortunately, like success, like we often talk about, can build momentum, and having reps behind you of you achieving things gives you momentum and confidence to do other things that are difficult, and you level up. Unfortunately, what we've seen before, it also goes the other way. If you try something and fail, that can have a negative impact on your confidence and your self-belief, and momentum can shift the other way. And then you don't want to try again because it didn't work last time and it didn't feel nice. And often the first initial part of a fitness journey is easily the hardest, both mentally and physically. You do your first gym session, if you don't hold yourself back, you will never be as sore as what you are after your first session. It will never be as hard as what the first session actually is. So the part that kills me is how many people start, do their first session or their first week, go through the most pain and discomfort and anxiety-driven feelings, and then give up. And it's like, you've gone through the hardest part. It gets easier from here.
Yeah.
How often do we say that?
And it's only failure if you give up.
It's a good line.
Yeah, because what I was thinking about was like, well, what could they possibly fail from? But you're right. If they don't get results after 2 months, and they throw their hands in the air. And that's a really hard part, because that's quite common. And the results normally come after like the 3-month mark.
Yeah. And the hard thing is people don't often admit it too, even if you're close to them.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about physical results either.
No.
More so than anything, it's the mindset. That's where you get the most amount of results, and also the identity shift. Because after 3 months, you build up those habits where you can kind of lean on and say, well, I'm a gym goer, I'm a runner, or whatever it might be. You can kind of lean on that more after you've done that 3 months. It's not necessarily just the physical results after 3 months.
Trav, what's your advice to someone who thinks they're too far gone to get started?
You're never too far gone. And like you were talking about before, you might think you're too far gone now. What are you going to be like in another 12 months? Like everyone has their first day. You've just got it. It's just got to be day one today, and then just go from there.
Agreed. All right. What expectation should someone have after their first month of training? What should people expect will happen?
It's sort of a part of my tips, but not much. Like you don't want to be trying to do too much anyway in that first month. I think that all you should be trying to do is just establish your lifestyle routine. That's the only really result you should be focused on, because physically you're not going to improve too much, and then strength wise and fitness wise, again, you're not going to improve too much. But what you should focus on, which I think is the biggest win, is the lifestyle change you've made.
One of my tips, we are going to get to the tips later, but this isn't one of the ones I had written down. You've just kind of triggered it in my brain, is, and I guess it is targeted towards someone like me now, the more I think about it, it's track everything at the start. So I'm big on building momentum and getting confidence that way, and I like tracking everything I do training-wise. So get an in-body scan or your body fat DEXA scan, whatever you want to call it, and track on some of the lifts what you can actually do.
Yeah.
And track, if you haven't run in ages and you want to build back your running speed and duration, do a 1 kilometer run timed and see what the time is.
Where to, Simon?
Just so you can, was this one of your tips?
Yep.
Sorry. So if you set up as a guy 50 kilos on the bar for bench press, and you can only get out 6 or 7 reps, in 3 months' time, put the same weight on the bar and see how many reps you can do, and so you can see how far you've come. Or you might even be able to do it 2 weeks later. Time yourself on that 1 kilometer run, and then a week later or 2 weeks later do another 1 kilometer run, so that you can build confidence from seeing the improvement in your results.
That's pretty much all my tips.
Sorry.
It's gone.
But in saying that, I wouldn't get you to do that in terms of body weight.
No.
And that is what a lot of people will gravitate towards, to what they measure straight off the bat. They'll stand on the scales. Why shouldn't they measure body weight as a metric of their improvement?
I just don't think it's like an accurate result of like what your performance could be as well. There's things that are better to measure, like how many sessions you've come to in a month, like consistently, whereas before you might have not been coming at all. And that's not saying doing heaps of sessions. Actually, it's one of my tips, so I don't have to say that. I'll get into that later. But like tracking those types of things, like, and even the way you feel, I know it's a bit wish-washy, but like it's not something that you can measure. But how you feel is so much more important than what you weigh. It's that, like, if you're starting to feel like you've got more energy, you're more focused, you wake up in the morning and you spring out of bed, opposed to feeling sluggish, struggling to get out of bed and feeling foggy at work, that's a far more impressive result than, you know, a kilo on the scales.
And the hard thing about weighing yourself, and the main reason why I would advise against it, is there's too much that can come into it that affects your weight.
Especially for females.
Yes.
Like,
hormones are going wild, depending on what time of the month it is, how much water retention you've got, how much salt your body is currently holding, muscle mass as opposed to fat mass. Like, there's so many things that can impact what the number on the scale is that don't show your result. You could get a great result, feel better, perform better, sleep better, look better, and the weight can stay exactly the same or even go up on the scales, and you can lose all momentum.
God, it was frustrating when we used to do those scans at the end of challenges, and in particular, the women would get so upset or frustrated, like that number, whatever the number was that they were chasing, didn't go down. And it's like, but look at what you've achieved performance-wise. Look how much stronger you are. Look at all these other things, but they would only focus on that one thing.
And it's why we shifted.
Yeah.
It's why we shifted away from challenges. We shifted away from weight loss or body transformation challenges and more to performance challenges. And it's kind of like what I was getting at before, where you should be aiming to measure the things that your body can do.
Yes.
Don't worry about what your body weighs. Worry about the things that your body can do. So I've got a few more questions before we get into the actual tips. If someone had 30 minutes 3 times a week to start exercising, what would you suggest they do?
Is that included walks?
No.
Okay, so I'd have
structured exercise.
Structured.
So like they can walk throughout their week.
Yeah.
But 30 minutes 3 times a week for an actual exercise session.
At least 2 of them will be strength.
Yeah. I'd probably even lean towards all 3.
Yeah, potentially all 3 will be strength.
Yep.
If you're a little bit like myself and you get a little bit more out of like the cardio side of things, I'd be doing two minimum strength, if not 3, and then the third one might be like one of our classes that are like
cardio.
Yeah, cardio based class.
Yep.
You?
Yeah, I would agree. I would go straight up. I would say 3 weight sessions a week, and then aim to pick up your steps.
Yes.
7,000 to 10,000 steps a day.
That was what I was going with with the walk, because
I knew.
It's we both agree on this, that it's the most beneficial type of exercise that you can do. Everyone can do it. It's free.
Lowest hanging fruit.
Yeah, it's accessible.
And on top of that, often when people will compare cardio versus strength, another reason why I suggest starting with strength is most people aren't like you, Travis, in that they don't enjoy cardio.
Yeah, so
getting on an assault bike and ripping it for 30 seconds until you get that metallic taste in your mouth and you go out the back and throw up. You enjoy that. I enjoy it. Most people don't, especially someone that hasn't exercised in a while. Generally, one of the main reasons they aren't exercising is because they don't enjoy it. A strength session is a lot more enjoyable, or a lot less unenjoyable than a flogging cardio session.
So even to like kind of strip that back again, like do 3 sessions that you enjoy.
Yep.
You'll enjoy
Find
more.
what you enjoy.
Yeah, find what you enjoy and do them. That's the best form of exercise.
Go play pickleball. Great game.
Paddle.
I played my first game of paddle today.
Yeah.
Ever.
I know, and you won.
Did we?
Let's not tell everyone. What?
Ali plays 3 times a week and we still did it. Whatever. Anyway, what's the biggest mistake beginners make in their first 30 days?
Doing too much. Too much all the time. We see way too often. They get and love that.
Yeah.
They get so excited. Love that we create the environment they just want to be around, but it often leads to burnout because it's unsustainable. But again, this is one of my tips.
All right, we can move on. What habits outside the gym make the biggest difference for beginners? I've got a good answer to this, but I want to see what you shoot with. All right,
first thing I thought of was sleep.
How did you know what I was going to say?
Oh, is that what you're going to say?
Of course.
Yeah,
sleep.
Sleep would be the number one thing that, like, and then I went to like lifestyle and what they do on the weekend, but I think sleep comes before that.
100% it does. 100%. Yep. And we often get a lot of people that would come in and, all right, when I start exercising again, I want to get my food right. I want to do this. I want to do this. And what I'll often say is week 1, let's just get moving. Don't worry about trying to change 10 things in your life all at once, because it's going to be a lot harder to maintain. Week 1, maybe even month 1, just focus on exercise. And what you find generally happens is someone starts exercising and then generally without really focusing on it, they're going to start making healthier nutrition choices as well, because they don't want to ruin the positives that they've had at the gym.
Yeah.
All right. Trav, if someone listening today decided to start tomorrow, what would be the very first thing you'd get them to do?
It'll be a strength class.
I'm gonna take even one step back for my answer to this question. Tell someone.
Whoa.
If you are deciding to make an exercise change or start a fitness journey, tell your significant other or the closest person in your life.
Bit of accountability. What
you want to do. Not only accountability, also support. When I decided that I wanted to do 75 hard, I sat down with my wife and had a conversation. I said, this is what I want to do. This is what it's going to, like the strain it's going to cause on our family, but this is why I want to do it. And I want you to be across it too. And she said, I'm all on board. Let's go.
Until it was raining and you were sick and you hadn't drank any of your water and then you had to go out and do it. And she said, you're crazy, Pat. Don't do it. You're like, I'm going anyway.
You made that sound like more of a hero movie.
I did.
It was a bit more depressing.
I felt like it was like Rambo going out there. I can see it.
Yeah, thanks. I had my shirt on there. Anyway, that's my tip there is first thing is tell someone about it.
Yeah,
tell someone about it.
That's so good.
So that they can keep you accountable. But also,
is that your
I think
first
the
tip?
biggest one, no, sorry. Yeah, it kind of is. But also so they can support you. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yes, being accountable, but also support. Back to you, what's the first thing that you would suggest that they do?
Yeah, well, mine was doing the strength class, but yours is heaps better than mine. Well done.
But yours can be the next one after that.
Yeah.
The second thing. What's the second thing you do?
Give them a cuddle. Said they did a great job of the strength session. No, surround yourself with the right people is huge. I don't know if that's a step, but what you will notice is when you start coming into a gym, when you're around like-minded people, you naturally gravitate towards what those people do it themselves. So if you want to be something or someone or like someone,
hang around those people.
Yeah.
You're a product of your environment. What did you used to say to all the challengers? I hung around drinkers.
That. Yeah, that's it. I remember. Let's see if I can remember it. It was like I hung out with partiers. I became a party animal. I hung out with drug users. I became a drug addict. I hung out with gambling people. Became a gambling addict.
Yeah.
And
no,
then,
you said I hung around with people who love a beer, and I became an alcoholic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is true. But then I hung out with like people that like to get results and train at 4 a.m. And hey, lo and behold, that's who my best friends are. They're all at 4 a.m. training.
What would you know?
Lunatics.
All right, last question before we then get into the tips is...
On that,
yeah, go.
This morning I was driving here at 3:50.
Yeah.
I got here and...
Couldn't get a park.
And I'm like, what is wrong with us that 4 a.m. is not early enough anymore? This one over here is a specialty at it.
For Amanu, you run way too early sometimes.
I rock up and most of the time he's running past me or has already gone. But what is going on? At 3:40 this morning, I thought there might have been 3 or 4 of the boys, and then I would have jumped in with the other 10 at 4. All the boys are at...
You know what? It's the mindset that can often be very negative, but it's turned positive in the group of guys that we've got. And that mindset is, like, if one of the boys is doing it...
I mean...
I want to come and do it too. And it's the FOMO, right?
Yeah.
So how it happened, normally the boys train at 4 a.m. on a Friday. And like I mentioned to you,
Matt and you.
I went and Matty and I were going to go play paddle at 5 a.m. at Alexandria with Ali. And then Matty puts a message in the 4 a.m. chat, hey boys, here's the Friday session. And I'm like, Matty, you know that like we're playing paddle at 5 a.m. at Alexandria? And he goes, oh yeah, shit. And then he said, oh, me and Bill are doing it at 3:40, but here's the session for all the boys doing it at 4. And then one of the boys goes, oh, I'll come a bit earlier. I'll do it at 3:40 as well. And then he's like, oh shit, I don't have a partner. And then you saw in the chat, right? It was then, I'll do it at 3:40 as well. Boom, 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 boom. And
I looked
all these
at this
boys,
morning. I'm like, what the hell? I'm getting there at 4. I'm going to be late.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, there's no session at 4 a.m. anymore. It's like, and 15 of the boys came at 3:40.
I went one out this morning.
You turned up.
I trained by myself this morning at 4 a.m. because I don't know when those messages came through, but it was yesterday. It was too late for me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
6 p.m. You're in bed.
you know what? And we're kind of going off a tangent here, and I love that for us. But you've probably seen it maybe come up on your algorithm because we have the same kind of things come up.
Yeah.
There's it's a video of like two guys, and it looks like they're about to start an Ironman or some sort of triathlon because they got wetsuits on, and it's like have that friendship where it says if you do it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
How many times have we got ourselves in trouble?
I might have sent that to you.
Yeah, I think you have. Yeah, you have.
Yeah.
I think of you every time I see that. But that's what it's like now with the boys. It's like, well, if you do it, I'll do it.
Perfect example was a couple of weeks ago when Joel Kingham ran 100 Ks and he started at 8 p.m. to finish at 8 a.m. and he was doing 20 Ks every 2 hours or something like that. And he messaged the boys in the chat, hey, can you come and join me for a few of these runs? And Ben Robson, rugby boy, right? Proper rugby player, turned up and ran with him and was going to just do one of the 20K loops. Ended up doing 2 of them. And I chatted to him and said, Benny, what's the furthest you've ever run before? And he goes, 11 Ks. And he just rocked up and just did 40 Ks. You know why? Because the boys were doing it. And he rocked up at midnight and did 40 Ks from then. And he goes,
that is so
because the boys were doing it. He said he did one 20K loop and his legs were cooked and he was sitting at the gym like done. And then the boys like went to go again and he's like, fuck it. And just started running. Ended up running another 20 with them.
That's crazy.
But that's exactly what you said. Like, the environment you surround yourself in, it just like, you just get dragged up to people's level.
I don't think this is the right podcast, but just a quick one. It does frustrate me how we can almost get in a little bit of trouble for being a boys' club, but the stories that we just shared then, that's why we do what we do. Like there is so many, like I was just thinking at the age of what, Benny Robson's 25?
Yeah, something like that.
I know.
What were we doing then?
Exactly, right?
I wasn't running 40 Ks, that's
like,
for sure.
What an environment for a 25-year-old male to be around, opposed to what we were in. There's so many more positives that boy group, that everyone like, it's boys club, whatever, does compared to like, the slight negatives that I have where it's seen as like a little bit too close to each other. You know what I mean? We help each other out so much mentally, physically, but also that environment, like that's going to help everyone in their work life, their family life, all of it. Anyways, back to the beginners.
All right, last question before we then get to our tips. What's something you believed about fitness that you now know was completely wrong?
Well, we've touched on it a few times. The weight was like was the be all and end all.
That was it.
Yeah, like, and I get it. It's a measurable number, right? Now there's MyZones, there's Whoops, there's all different ways of tracking your data. There's way more people doing running, so there's a lot more things that you can, actually track. But I think when I started, everything was just about your weight. It was about, what the number said on the scale. It didn't matter what your body fat percentage or anything like that was at the start. But yeah, it was just that. It was a long time ago though, Patrick.
It was. All right, we're now going to get into our tips.
Yes.
Now, what we're going to do, we haven't spoken about these to each other. We're going to go one for one. They are going to link up, but then we can just talk about each other's one as well.
I'd love to.
I'd love to start.
I'd love for you to
My
start.
number one tip, if you were to forget everything else and just focus on this, when you are starting a fitness journey, is lower the bar and lower your expectations, which is going to sound strange because I do like to push people hard, but don't start with 6 sessions a week. Start with 2 and slowly build up from there. Comparing yourself to others and what others are doing that might have been doing it for 5 years is the easiest way to fail. Just start slow with a much smaller amount than what you think and build it up over time.
Well, That's my second one. So I'll
Go
leave
straight to that then.
I'll leave it to there, and then
Okay.
we'll come back to it.
Sure. You do whatever you
My
want.
first one is write a plan for what you are going to do. So write a plan of like what days you're going to train, and in between those days, try and go for like an active walk. We've talked about this on another podcast where, say you train at 6 a.m. on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, on Tuesday, Thursday, go for a walk at the same time.
So you're still waking up at the same time of the day.
But write it down. Very important you write it down because
With a pen.
with
not
a
on
pen.
your phone.
Yeah, not on your phone. It's not the same.
No.
Bring
Feels
back
nicer
old
with a
school.
pen.
Yeah, it's heaps nicer. That's my first one, Patrick.
My next tip is focus on attendance, not performance
very
initially. Don't see your goal when you're starting as getting fit. Your goal is just turning up. Build the habit first and results will come.
Perfect. Well, it kind of all ties in now. So off the back of what Paddy's first tip was, mine is less is more. So you want to try to start with a fitness regime that is sustainable. Yes, you can do it you can go to 6 sessions a week for a month, but can you do it for the next 6 months, 6 years? So write something that is sustainable so you can always fall back on it too. So when you have those harder weeks, you're at your bare minimum as well. So start with less is more. Very similar to what Paddy said, but the big word that I want to use there is sustainable.
Same theme, but different context. Leave each session feeling like you could have done more. If you start off, and I say this to every single person that starts, we had Big Rido and his mate Justin, who came in the other day for their first ever session. I said, I want you max to go to a 7 out of 10. I don't want you anywhere near an 8 or a 9 or a 10 out of 10 in terms of effort, because I'd rather you walk out and wake up the next day thinking, you know what, I could have gone a bit harder, as opposed to
I went to hard.
what these two boys did on Tuesday. I messaged them the following day. And they said, I think I went too hard. I can't move my legs. Ego plays into that a little bit. That's okay. Put your ego in the back pocket. Just start off really easy. Do less than what you think you can do. And later on, you can pick up the intensity.
Agreed.
Next.
My last one is what you spoke about, and it's track your progress.
Yep.
Now, this is for... I don't like using this word, but it is for motivation later on down the track when you need it, right? So what Paddy was saying before is if you write down what you bench press in this month or what you ran that 1 kilometer time trial in your first month, and then in 3 months later when you're not feeling like you might not be getting the results on the scale, and people always look at that. You can lean back on this and be like, well, I can bench 20 kilos more. I'm now running 30 seconds faster per kilometer, sorry. If you can track as much as you possibly can, it's really good to lean back on when you need that little bit of motivation to see how far you've come.
I do that now.
Yeah.
Most weeks I do exactly that. And it also triggers into the competitive part of my brain. Every weight session I track. How much weight I lifted, how many reps, how many sets, all of it. And a perfect example in a Monday strength session that I do at 5 a.m., write down on our app all the weights and all the reps that I did. And if I do 100 kilos for 6 on Monday, the following week, I lay down, I look at my phone, I saw that I did 100 for 6 last week. I'm doing 100 for 7, or I'm going to kill myself trying. And yes, there's days where I don't feel it and I don't necessarily hit it, but that feeling when you get that 7th rep out, knowing that was more than what you did the week before, it makes me feel 10 feet tall. I love it. And I deliberately give myself that feeling 3-4 days a week, 10 times in that session for that purpose, because then it makes me want to keep going. It's the best. All right, my next one is don't measure your results by weight loss. We did touch on it before. Yeah, probably got like 3 more. But you can still talk about... No, 1 more after this. So it's okay.
You told me 3. That was my 3.
Yeah, you had 30 seconds to prep.
Yeah, it was good 30 seconds though.
Yeah, so don't measure your results by weight loss. Initially, think about the reason that you are training is to get more energy, to have a better mood, to have better sleep, to have more confidence, to have better performance. Focus on those things, not the weight, and you're going to feel better afterwards.
Yeah. I love when you hear people talk about that. Like they talk about, I was so much better at work today. I was so much more focused. I was so much better in the afternoon with my kids, whatever it might be. But when they talk about like anything but the scales, it's so much better.
Next tip, I actually have 2 more. Find a community.
Yeah.
Whether it's a gym, something like Reborn, something
Yeah,
like
another
that,
place.
or even just a training partner or a training buddy. If there's a group, it helps a lot more, because if you're dependent on just one person, you're throwing a lot of eggs in one basket. But find a community that will help keep you accountable, but also that you enjoy being around. Because if you want to hang out, like, how many times will one of the boys that we train with wake up feeling like shit, or they're sore, or they've been sick or something like that, and they'll come into the gym and have a sauna.
Yeah.
And they're like, they didn't come to train. They grabbed a coffee and had a sauna with the boys, and like, it's ticking that box. It's ticking the social box too.
Yeah, agreed. You're a product of your environment, like we're talking about as well.
Last one. Probably one of the biggest ones. Stop waiting to feel ready or
Oh.
fit enough to start. Trav, how much does it kill you when someone
Yes.
says, yeah, I want to come and train at Reborn, but like, let me just get fit enough first.
It's so frustrating. What are you doing at the gym? That's what you do. But yeah, it's so frustrating. And this goes in for life. There's never a perfect time to start anything. You've just got to start. Just
Exactly.
take that lunge and just go.
Yeah, it's going to be scary. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to be out of your comfort zone, but you're going to be so much better off.
Yeah.
All right. I've got a line to finish this
Love that
podcast
for you.
with. Anyone out there that is looking to start exercise again or for the first time ever, if your future self could speak to you 5 years from now, would they thank you for starting today or wish you'd started sooner?
Oh, if we could drop the mics, we would drop them right now.
Don't drop them. They'll be off you.
Yeah, we're not even allowed to touch them.
I don't want to touch it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for listening.
Love you. Peace.